Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Look on the screen, you see a lady who has been a victim of domestic violence. And I'm going to do this video. I know it may be triggering for some, but I'm going to say what a lot of people might be afraid to say. And this is applicable to some domestic violence of victims. We sympathize with you. I don't wish this on anyone. Please get help. If you see the sign, run. But there's one thing I've noticed about, and it's against all genders, culture, socioeconomic levels. It doesn't matter. But a lot of times with a lot of domestic violence victims, like with the one recently in Miami who called her brothers, had a TRO on the guy, then he shot and killed both her brothers. See, one thing about domestic violence abuse victims is that a lot of times, even though they've been abused, some of those same women will turn around and protect the man. It blows my mind. They will turn around and protect the man. And I think in some cases they get these TROs and they're like, oh, they missed the guy. They're looking at not the totality, but always calm down. I saw him last time and he was real calm. So I think mentally they're going back into the, okay, that happened, but we're going to be okay. I'm trying to figure out of all that in Miami, how the heck did she even have him over there? Were you playing Miss Love a Thug? And look what has happened. A lot of women, when they get in these situations, they get caught up on a memory of something positive, not understanding there's good and bad, and the bad outweighs the good. That's why you're not together. That's why you have to get the TRO. Why is it when these men do act up and you have them in your company, knowing he's not supposed to be there? I'm trying to understand why did you not call the police? You know why they don't call the police? I think they don't call the police because you know what? They want to still protect that man. Even though, look at this lady. Look like both of her eyes are pretty much shut. One of them is shut. Look at this. This woman been disfigured. This is just the physical. Imagine the emotional toll of having to relive those horrible moments. So yeah, that's why a lot of people don't want to get involved because when these men get out of control, a lot of times the woman, like I said, she called her two brothers, the one from Miami, of course not the one on the screen. Why the heck did she call the police? My guess is you didn't call the police because deep down inside, you know he's not supposed to be there. You've got the TRO, and he has a weapon, and you know a felon is not supposed to have a weapon. So let me guess, you don't call the police because deep down inside, some of these women they still want to protect the guy. Why I don't know. Still want to protect him. So what do? Call a family member or friend to get over here. Why? Hoping he can calm down. Why not call the police? Oh no, because he's out of sorts. He's acting crazy and violent. And the police, it's going to only go so far. Trust and believe. He won't be the only one with a gun. And that's a lot of people don't want to get involved with DV victims. Now, there are some women who try to get away and the guy's just like totally crazy, obsessed with them, or obsessed with hurting the person so bad. That right there, it's like, wow, this one won't go. But when you see women, I'm referring to the ones they've gone through this before, and then what do? They go back. He's acting up again. Oh my goodness. I think he was gonna do that. How long has this been going on for years? Oh girl, you ought to know by now. Entertain this man at your own risk. Again, why would they call the police? Because a lot of women have, and the police get there too late. But once you've reached this level, as a one in Miami or any other case, there was a case where a lady had children by a man, and no offense, I'm like, girl, 3 or 4 kids later, I'm not trying to hear you don't know this man. If you don't know this man, then I don't understand you. I want to finally break away, and maybe he has an emotional hold on him. Well, she did that. She decided to move when she got her dad and her two brothers. Oh, hold on. Her dad, two brothers, and a cousin. Four against one. Yeah, she got to move her out the county way, way by what, an hour away? How about he already tracked her down? And I'm like, did she turn the location? I didn't know where you were. And then sometimes women sometimes talk too much, and you're gonna go tell them, or you tell somebody else, and you need to be quiet. Please be quiet. Tell no one. I told my friend, and that friend may tell someone, and then circles around. She went to the new location. They had the moving truck and they were moving her in, and he showed up and he unalived. I thought it was three. He unalived all four: the dad, the two brothers, and a cousin. Go figure. I knew two individuals. We actually worked together, and the lady, she was married. Man, she had like 4 or 5 kids, and she'd met a single guy, which I was really cool with him. We all worked together. Her, not so much. She kind of strike me as bottom shelf, bottom of the floorboards, Betty. She was, yeah, because like he and I would talk, and then one day she came up to me with an attitude at my desk, and I was like, I said, hey, excuse me, how do you know him talking all crazy? I wasn't going to entertain it on the job, and I told him about it. I'm like, hey, you won't believe what happened. She came to my desk, and I'm working an early shift, 7 in the morning, and yeah, I said she was very, a little aggressive. Long story short, this was a married woman. I think she had 4 or 5 kids, and it was crazy. Now, her husband had been separated for a very long time, and he had a drug problem. So she took up with my friend. They were kicking it. She came up with some crazy idea that she wanted him to marry her, and he was like, number one, she's still legally married. He was just, to be honest, lay and play. I don't think he cared about her. So he was like, man, she wants to get married, but she got all these kids. She's still legally married. I just don't see, even if she got divorced, he was never going to marry her. Once it came out, he wasn't going to marry her. She pulled, I'm going to unalive myself and cancel myself. And she threatened to jump off the balcony, which I didn't buy because I'm like, oh, she's going to jump off the balcony. That's like, yeah, on the second floor. Way to go, chick. I knew then she was BSing. Fast forward, she pressed the marriage issue, and he told me he was going to tell her, like, hey, it's just not going to happen. He's like, he's already told her, but be like really firm. So long story short, they go out on a date. I believe she had him killed. They go out on a date, and guess what happened? Her on drugs husband shows up, just happens to know where they are at the restaurant. And when I say on drugs, this was a guy that was like a sea head. He had no job. He was literally like a zombie sea head. That kind. Just around in the hood. So he shows up, her husband, the crackhead, with a friend, and as they're walking to the restaurant, and it was an area where all the clubs are, what have you. They happen to meet them walking down the street, and next thing you know, they pull out a gun. She goes home. My friend, they take him with him. Next thing you know, is in the back of they found him in the back of a trunk, dead, shot dead. How they found him? Because the fools had set the car on fire, and a neighbor, they had parked the vehicle. It was a stolen vehicle. I mean, it was crazy. They had parked the vehicle um, near the residential area. So when they did that, set on fire, a homeowner saw it and called the police. It didn't take long. They came out there, extinguished it, and they found his body in the back of the vehicle. Guess what? I believe she killed him because she came to work the next day like nothing was wrong and was on her phone. They were talking about it. She was like, oh, pulling that stunt. I haven't heard from him. I haven't heard from him. I haven't heard from Curtis. Really? Really? And I said, this witch came to work like nothing. The fact that her husband and his friend got a hold of him with the weapon, she just went home. She didn't call the police. She went home and came to work the next day. Hold on, it gets even worse. Then aside from that, somebody I knew was dating this girl who worked down at the jail, okay? And she was the kind, you wore a uniform, and I guess when you come in and out, they check you out. So her vehicle was down. I said, yeah, I can come pick you up from work. I go to pick her up, and what do I see? I see that woman there with a bag and some clothes. And I'm like, what the hell? What's she doing here? And so the girl I went to pick up, she said, "Girl, she's here. Oh yeah, she bringing clothes. His trial is coming up, and she bringing clothes." I saw her with a brown bag with some stuff in it. She's like, "Yes, probably her shoes, his shoes, and with a suit." What? That's when I believe even the family was like, they think she set him up. Yeah, he didn't want to marry her, and she claimed too. She was DV. Really? She claimed that too. But now the man that she wanted didn't want her and all those kids. Look what happened. Again, the fact that she was out with them and then they took him at gunpoint. You didn't call the police, you just went home. We found this out at the wake. You just went home and came to work the next day. She had to have been in on it. So don't, I said it to say this here. So don't be surprised with the two brothers that unfortunately lost their lives defending their sister in Miami. Don't be surprised if she stand up there and then try to start crying tears for her man. He didn't mean to do it. That's why a lot of people, when it comes to situations, why get involved? Why would she call the brother? She should have called the police. Well, let me guess, you want to get him in trouble. Is that what that is? Still want to protect the abuser. Last, well, this chick I know, she got really upset because she rented out a house. It's a 2-1. It's a 2-1. And so she now has found a roommate. A roommate is a friend of hers. And she's like calling the landlord and she's like, "Oh yeah, hey, I want to go ahead. I have a person to rent out the other room." And she like wanna like she can be here like tomorrow, 2 days at the most. And can we wanna fast track it? Can we put a rush on it? It's like, well, let me go ahead and get the application and then run a credit check and a background check. Oh yeah, she'll pass a credit check, she'll pass that. Okay, background check. And then that's when she revealed, "I'm willing to go ahead and stand for her. We just need to go ahead and fast track it. It might be an issue because she's dealing with a DV." And when she mentioned DV, the guy was like, "It's not happening." He wouldn't even send an application. And she doesn't understand that. Oh, I understand it because number one, you're saying DV and she needs to come quick and let you know it's some active violence. That man is running. He's a landlord. He's running a business, a small time landlord. So he doesn't have time for her man to be showing up there, pop, 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 rat a tat, or stabbing, gotta call harassment. "Oh, there are holes in the wall. Oh, he broke the glass out. Oh, an insurance claim. You know how insurance work. He probably has a deductible on the house. What if the deductible was $20,000? Well, the damage is only 7,000. That's 7,000 out of his pocket. So ergo, he'll be leasing at a loss." I don't understand. You don't understand? Oh, I definitely get it. He didn't want to lease to a person already involved in a domestic violence situation. We people know how it goes. We all know if there are people out there, it's a matter of time he's gonna find her, or she may tell him where he is, or she may, let me guess, meet with him, and then he may follow her back home, and then he knows where she lives. That's why you think the person running from the last place. DV. Because for every woman that really honestly wants to get away from the person to be totally done and left alone, guess what? There is also another woman who's dealing with the same situation, but still holding out hope for that man. That is why they want to call other people, not call the police. Because let's be real, those kind, you really don't want to hurt them. That's what's up. Look at this on the screen. This lady, she was a victim of domestic violence. One eye closed shut, both of them looking bruised up, a lump on her head, looks like a cut. Look, her jawline is messed up. This is just the physical. Imagine the mental scars on the inside. So a lot of people don't want to get involved in DV. Not saying this for her on the screen because I don't know her personally or the one in Miami. But a lot of people don't want to get involved because this is what happens. Sometimes these men will still have some kind of emotional hole. There's something really toxic and psychologically dehumanizing there to try to still tether yourself to the person who's abusing you. And that's why a lot of people don't want to get involved. Because sadly, a lot of these women, some of these women, I do believe they still want to protect that man that's going upside their head, that's just beating them down, not just emotionally, but physically. And that is why they won't call 911. Why? when the abused is protecting the abuser. And that's the sad reality. Let me know your thoughts on this. Thanks for watching. Any initial signs? Please, please, I beg of you, run. Oh, it's been 3 months. He's missing some counseling. Good form. Stay running. Keep those track shoes on your feet. With an abuser, refuse to meet. It's just not worth it. Because the life you save might be your own. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and share them out.